Welcome to Flashpoints. I'm Margaret Brennan in the CBS newsroom with Juan Zarate, CBS News national security analyst.
Thanks, Margaret.
There is so much territory to cover that people need to know about and should be looking at, but a lot of these headlines get ignored these days. There are some flashpoints we want to put on people's radar. One of them is Lebanon. There's some serious spillover happening from this Syrian civil war, and that's causing problems in Lebanon, which is notoriously unstable.
That's right. And a great concern that the U.S. government and others around the world have had is whether or not the chaos in Syria will spill over into neighboring countries, in particular Lebanon, which in some ways has this uneasy balance of sectarian politics and confessional society. What you've had in recent days is the Lebanese armed forces fighting further in the north, the city of Tripoli, fighting Sunni extremist forces. Keep in mind that the Lebanese have been worried about al-Qaeda and al-Qaeda affiliates like Jabhat al-Nusra taking parts of their territory. Even recently, there was a city that was occupied for a short period of time by these al-Qaeda forces in Lebanon. Lebanese forces have been taken hostage, a few of them beheaded by some of these forces. And so what you have is the Lebanese reacting and the armed forces fighting back. In general, though, there is a question as to whether or not Lebanon can maintain its stability amid all of this chaos, with all of the Syrian refugees in country, and with all of this violence percolating. And this is where, in some ways, the popularity of Hezbollah is rising, because even non-Shiite members of Lebanese society view Hezbollah as a defender of the country, which is an interesting dynamic in the context that we're living in.
I want to talk a little bit about a flashpoint in Libya. This is a country where the U.S. was part of a coalition to carry out strikes to remove Muammar Gaddafi from power. The premise for that was protecting people in Libya from his forces. Now, though, there's been a tremendous security vacuum, and the UN is warning this country is on the brink of civil war. What do people need to know about Libya?
Well, we've talked about it before in Flashpoints. Libya has the potential of becoming Somalia on the Mediterranean. A fight between clans and tribes, between Islamists and moderates, and a potential safe haven for al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda affiliated groups. You've even seen groups that have started to align themselves officially with the Islamic State popping up in the eastern parts of Libya, places like Derna and Benghazi. And so this is a real tinderbox, not just because of the ongoing political fights and some of the tribal fights that are underway, but really a question of what happens to Libya moving forward. Can it even be a viable state? And if so, who's going to govern it? Right now you have two governments fighting for power, the one that's recognized internationally, a more moderate government, and then an Islamist-run government with all sorts of factional fighting in between. And this is a real mess and has the potential of becoming a safe haven and, in fact, an inkblot in the broader debate about how we deal with the Islamic State, because it has the potential of being an outpost for that group.
Another country that has been very difficult for diplomats to work in and has a number of security concerns is in the Gulf, and that's the country of Yemen. Al-Qaeda has a real stronghold there. What's happening right now?
Well, Yemen it's a bit of a mess for a couple of reasons. One, as you mentioned, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, considered to be one of Al-Qaeda's strongest and most lethal affiliates, continues to base there, continues to fight, has tribal alliances, and is fighting with the government. The U.S. is helping, going after their leadership, but that persists as a problem. But in addition, Margaret, Yemen serves as another battle space between the major powers of the region. Mm-hmm. And so it's a proxy battlefield for the Saudis against the Iranians. You now have the Iranian-backed Houthi rebellion actually marching into the capital, taking over, in essence, power in Sana'a. And so they are now in ascendancy, while at the same time the existing government, President Hadi, deciding to work with them to fight the al-Qaeda groups and tribes. And so it becomes a very sort of dynamic chessboard with a lot of different players, a lot of different interests.
All right, they're still very much flashpoints, hotspots in and of themselves.
Gotta watch them.
Very much so. Thank you, Juan.
Thanks, Margaret.
This has been Flashpoints. We're in the CBS newsroom. Thanks for watching.